It is Friday, the somethingth of May, 2021. I'm Laura. This is Laugh Big TV. Welcome back. It's been a little bit since we've made a video. It's been kind of a busy time around here, but we're going to try to do a little bit more. We've got baby chicks in a brooder downstairs. We've got garden stuff growing out back. All kinds of things, herbs and stuff that already need to be harvested. Doing some work around the house and the yard. You know, it's just kind of a busy time of year, but we wanted to stop in and say hi this morning and share a little bit of wildness and smelling the roses with you. Today I went out and harvested wild rose blossoms. Our wild rose vines have just really produced this year. I mean, just if I could share the smell with you, that alone would be worth it. But as the petals start falling to the ground, it's a good time to pick them, because as they mature and they start to fall to the ground, that's when they smell the nicest. And what's really cool about the wild rose blossoms, of course, I'm guessing it's going to be a little difficult for you to see these beautiful little delicate flowers, delicate blossoms, but all of the little tiny pieces of flower petals, I don't know if you can see that or not, they're little hearts. We've got little heart-shaped petals falling all over the place out there. And yeah, here's how many we have. Lots! And did I get all of them? Not nearly, because there's so much. And there's a little something to remember when if you're wild foraging, or even foraging your own herbs that you've grown, flowers, berries, whatever it is in the wild. We wild foragers always leave some for nature. Leave some for some pollinators. Leave some for some little critters that can use what you're picking too. That way stuff will come back next year. And it's just kind of a good practice all the way around. You take some, you leave some for Mother Nature. She's nice enough to provide to us, so let's leave a little bit for her. So we left plenty of wild rose blossoms out there, because I did see a few pollinators. Sadly, I didn't see much in the way of honeybees. I've only seen a few so far this year, but we're hopeful. And I did see a couple of really cute little bumblebees down there. And then some of our tiny, tiny pollinators, those little bitty bugs that you don't necessarily think of as being pollinators, but they're little tiny flying guys. And so we left plenty for them too. So what are we going to do with our wild rose blossoms today that smell so heavenly? We're going to make hydrosol with them today, because it is just like with any flower, wildflowers, they come and they go pretty quickly. And if you want them to hang around any at all, you've got to do a little something with them. What are you going to do with them? You're going to make perfume out of them? You're going to make a sachet or some potpourri out of them, dry them? All kinds of ideas. We're making a hydrosol today. Oh look. Speaking of critters, this happens sometimes when you bring in a bowl of something you've picked from outside. I don't know if y'all can see the little ladybug that's crawling around on my hand there. She came out to say hi. We'll put you outside here in a little bit. You can sit right there for right now. So, yeah, sometimes that happens. Hydrosol. What's a hydrosol? Hydro, water, sol, solution, water solution. Doesn't really tell you that much, does it? But a hydrosol is what's used in making essential oils. Everybody loves essential oils, which are concentrated plant oils. The way they make essential oils most of the time is you take your raw product, whether it's an herb, whether it's a flower, a wood, a root, whatever it is, put it in water, simmer it in water until the steam rises from your liquid, your rich liquid that you've just made with your blossoms or your herbs and the water. And the steam rises, the steam is caught in some sort of container, and there will be a layer of essential oil. The oils, the vital plant oils, will be on top of the water. And so they extract that, use that as essential oils, or you leave it blended together, much like a rose water or an orange blossom water, and you call it a hydrosol. And it will, we still usually store ours in the fridge. They last longer than just if you had just soaked your flowers in water, strained them off, and then tried to use that. Is, it helps that it lasts a little longer without preservatives. We keep it in the fridge until I'm ready to use it. And you can use it for anything like you'd use a perfume or something for, because it smells fabulous. I will be using my hydrosols in making face and body creams because I get all of the nourishing benefits and the scent of the wild roses. And as a, I guess, kind of a private sort of, I don't know what we would call it, vintage kind of liquid that I can't just go buy anywhere, because oftentimes people will say that is just too much trouble. All of this stuff you're doing is just too much trouble. Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes when you get your own, kind of private label perfume, that's pretty cool. Nobody else in the world has that. So, and that's a nice way to preserve some of nature's bounty, because these blossoms will probably be gone next week. So we're going to use them today. How do you make a hydrosol? Hi, bird. There are some really cool little still setups that you can buy on Amazon or online, anywhere, I guess. They're little copper stills, just like a tiny miniature version of what you would find in the backwoods of mountains of Tennessee where they're making moonshine. It's the same kind of still. It's the same kind of procedure. I'm just doing it with flowers and not making liquor out of corn. So I haven't invested in a fancy still, so I have to make do with what I have, which is kind of clever, I have to tell you. Here's how we're going to do it. This is my mortar and pestle. This is, I guess, marble or something like that, some sort of stone. I don't know if this is pestle and mortar, pestle. I don't know. We don't need this, though. We just need this. See how it's a bowl, and it's a bowl that's kind of on a pedestal. I'm setting it right in the middle of my soup pot here. It's going to sit right in the very middle of that. And what I'm going to do with all of these beautiful rose blossoms is I'm going to tuck them all around the sides of this soup pot with the bowl on the pedestal in the middle. Get them all tucked in there good. With herbs and with some flowers, you can do this if you want. I'm not going to do it because there's little tiny thorns on these tiny wild rose blossoms, so I'm not going to go squeezing them with my hands because that would probably hurt. But I am mashing them down in here. And when you do that with your herbs or your flowers, you kind of break the cell walls, the plant cell walls, and release a lot of the really good stuff. So I've managed to get this entire big bowl of wild rose blossoms down in here. Let's see if you can see it. I don't know if you can see that or not from there. They're all tucked in there around my little bowl with the pedestal. Now I'm going to pour enough water in to coat my blossoms. It's not going to come all the way up to the top of my bowl with the pedestal, because I don't want it going in the bowl yet, because the bowl is going to catch the steam. I believe I need more water. Yeah, I do. Just a little bit. Stand by. I need water. Let's see if this is enough. We just want to cover them. They don't have to be covered a whole lot, but I would like to have them covered, and I think that's going to do it. Yeah. There we go. So we've got the rose blossoms barely covered with water. And what's going to happen now, I'm going to simmer this for several hours. I'm going to bring it up to right to the boil, just where it starts simmering, starts bubbling just a little bit. We don't want to overdo it. You don't want to burn everything, and you don't have to. This is one of those kind of slow procedures. But it's going to be on low and slow heat most of the afternoon. I'm probably going to leave this for 3 or 4 hours and let the steam slowly get all of the good stuff out of these blossoms. How are you going to catch that in that bowl in the middle of this soup pot? Ta-da! The beauty of a concave or convex lid. Instead of putting the lid on like this, I'm going to put the lid on like this. This little guy doesn't get in the way, so don't worry. It's going to set just like that, and what's going to happen is the steam is going to start collecting on the lid up here. But because of the shape of the lid, it's going to go this way, drip off of this, and into the bowl. That's going to be my distillate, my steam that has distilled onto here and dripped down into that bowl. What I'll end up with is probably a cup, 8 ounces or so of hydrosol, which seems like a tiny amount, and it kind of is. But when you're trying to get the really good stuff out of these blossoms, that's how you do it. You know, that's why if you price rose essential oil, it's one of the most expensive ones on the planet because it takes a lot of rose blossoms to make a tiny bit of essential oil that will be floating on top of my hydrosol that's in here. I'm going to bring them right over here, put a little heat underneath. Like I said, it's going to be pretty low. And we'll have wild rose hydrosol by the end of the day that is going to smell of floral and just the tiniest bit of wild spice, which is just my very favorite. You just can't find that aroma anywhere, even in like domestic roses anymore. All of these beautiful, these giant, I'm looking right across the street at my neighbor's corner rose bush that is covered with beautiful big red blossoms, those knockout roses that bloom all all season, but they smell like air. Nothing smells like a rose anymore. You can get roses from the florist and they don't smell like roses either. But when you go out in nature, you can find that the wild stuff still smells like what it's supposed to smell like. So my wild rose hydrosol will smell like wild rose hydrosol. So that's what we're doing today. That's part of what we're doing today at Laugh Pig. We'll catch you up on some other things. We'll see if we can get you some videos of the baby chicks and some of the stuff we got going on around here. It's got to be better than what's happening in the world out there. Things are so crazy I can't even address everything. It's getting crazier by the day. But we'll just do the best we can with what we have to work with. We're working with our wild roses today. I may be out picking some herbs to do some tinctures. We may be making some medicines this weekend. That may be something to tune in for. So from the Laugh Pig Ranch, I'm Laura. Hope everyone's having a great day. Peace to everyone. Hang in there. Good luck. The bad guys aren't going to win. It looks like they are right now. It looks like the world is just going to burn and fall apart. I don't really think it is. I think it's going to turn out okay. We just got to hang in there until it does. So, Godspeed to everybody. Have a great Friday. See you soon. Love you from Laugh Pig. Bye-bye.